All right, the first technology tool that I have chosen to share with you is Little Bird Tales. And I have chosen this website because it is a really fun website that I used with my students to create digital products. We use it during a narrative writing unit in my first grade classroom. So after the students have written their stories, they come onto Little Bird Tales and we go through the creation of a digital kind of storybook for them. And the reason that we do this is it really helps the kids take pride in their work and gives them a sense of motivation when they're doing, the handwritten work, the writing of their stories, because we'll usually preview some of the stories that have already been made on Little Bird Tales, and it gives them an idea of what they could start to create once they have finished their story. Like I said, this is intended for my students to use. It's something that you could use in other aspects, but I think it's really kid friendly with just the different tools that there are and the aspects that go into making each tale. So, what the kids would start with after they have written their story for my class, each one of them is set up with their own profile under my teacher account. So you can see here we're in my teacher account with my name. It's linked to your school, so you'll have a school code to go in, but again, it's all totally free, so not a big deal there. Every child will have their own page that they can go in and have just a list of stories if they continue to create more than one tale after you're done. But the create a tale option is where everyone will start. And what that takes you to is your very first page, so your cover page. And you can fix your title up at the top. It puts everyone with the default title, but you can change it to whatever you'd like to be. And it starts with your cover of your story. So this is another time where we can talk about text features with my students. And it's really great to talk about, what is the cover of your story, what needs to be on there in regards to like a title, anything like that. So we can go with different options. You can see it's kind of set up like the old computer program Paint, and some of my kids are familiar with that, some are not. So this is really a good learning time for them too, so they can figure out how to make, pictures, how to use different tools like the eraser tool, using a paintbrush, the fill option, drawing shapes. Um, Typing things is pretty new for us in first grade, so this can get a little time consuming, but they really do put in a lot of hard work when they're creating these stories. We can talk about font size and different types of font, what is font. So there's a whole lot of learning that can go on all around with this program. But we can type in some sort of title here. Oops, my font is still pink. You'll notice with your students, there's a lot of things you learn along the way, a lot of things to think about, a lot of little details for this, but it really is a fun program to do. So after they get their title of their story and everything, after each page, always save, because if they don't save and they X out, they're going to be heartbroken because it does delete whatever you've got, and it's kind of tricky to recover if they don't tell you right away. But anyways, they've got their first page, click save, and it will bump you automatically to the first page of your story. So down in their little text box right here, this is where students start to type their story. Once upon a time, I was walking in the park. They can continue in that whole box right there. I always tell my students, type first and then you can do your pictures. Otherwise, they would spend their whole work time on their picture. But they get to learn a lot of really fun things here. So coming in again and creating another picture, kind of like I showed you on the cover, they can learn how to do different shapes again. Maybe we'll make some grass to go for our park and all of those things. So saving again, and then you'll see that your artwork pops up over here after you've saved it. When they're ready to go on to their next page, they save again, and you'll notice that it's kind of accumulating all of the pages of your story over here on the side. And so they'll continue for all of the pages that they need in their story until they get to the very end. And what you see on the side, along with like your cover, page 1, page 2, it'll continue on down. There's an icon for sound, and you can see we haven't recorded sound yet, but then the little blue box shows that there was text that was typed on that page. So you can see where all of the students are at with just a glance at their computers as you're walking around monitoring. If you do want to add voice to a page, which is kind of their favorite part, they always think it's so funny to listen to themselves talk, but you can go back to the page and you've got the voice record option here with this little green button. So by clicking on that, it'll start to record my voice, and you can see that our talking is working here, and you can stop it. If they don't like it, they can just record again. So this, since that wasn't my actual story, I can click it again and record my voice. Once upon a time, I was walking in the park. And then if they need to hear it back to make sure they said all of their words correctly and things like that, they can go down to this play option. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it on here very well, but let me turn up my volume just in case. Once upon a time. So from that, you can see that they'll be able to hear what they have and then continue on to their next page and next page. I do have some stories saved from my class last year, though, so we can go and take a look at those. And by doing that, we'll just go back up here to my home button. If I scroll down on my teacher page, I go to manage classes. And if you wanted to check the progress of your students, after school or during plan time or something, this is where you can click on your class, and you can see, I'll go back for a second, you are allowed to have multiple classes in there. I've got some for previous classes, for some after school stuff. You can have as many accounts as you want. I think there is a limit to how many children fit in each class, but by creating multiple classes, you can avoid any issues there. There's all of my students and what they've got right here. They all had one tail from last year, so you're able to edit it, move it, or just simply review it, which is what we'll do. And by clicking on this here, Marziah's tail has popped up, and I can print, or I can play it over here with this option. I don't know that you'll be able to hear her voice very well, but you can see at the bottom that it starts moving as it's telling her, talking, reading her story, and it'll play through all of her different slides from her stories. She got really creative with her cute little elephant there. But it really just amazed me to see what my students were able to do in terms of creativity, more so than just what they can draw on a paper. So again, back to those standards that I used for this. For the ISTE standards, I think it goes to the educator standard 6A, where I am requiring students to find some ownership in their learning and the projects that they're creating, the work that they're doing in class. They had to be independent when they were using this website and kind of just play around with the different features and learning things, how to manipulate the mouse and create different parts of their pictures and incorporating their words in the recordings and stuff by themselves. Also, I think it applies to the student standard 6B, where the students create original works and they showcase them to their peers. So this is a really great resource for mostly the young students. I think older students, if you were doing this with them, they would have a little bit more of an easy time, so it wouldn't be as time consuming. But I really do enjoy using it in my classroom, taking up about a week just to have something that the students are really proud of. And then I have the ability to share it with embedded codes right here with their parents via email or anything like that. So yeah, I encourage everyone to give it a try.